name is Geraldine. I'm from Morgantown Arts Center. It's about a half hour from here. And I'm also part of a group called Earth Guardians. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Earth Guardians. It is a group that is designed to help children reconnect with nature and rekindle a desire to begin taking care of the earth. Through providing environmental education, empowerment, leadership skills, programs in nature, children are given the knowledge and the tools and the leadership qualities needed to help shape the kind of world that they want to grow up in and pass on to the next generation. So basically, we're a young group dedicated and committed to protecting the earth, the water, the air, the atmosphere, so that future generations can inherit a healthy and sustainable planet. Okay? Earth Guardians, they're all over the world. I started a chapter in Elverson, Morgantown area, and basically every month we do like a monthly meeting and see like what we can do for our community, as far as like using less plastic, planting trees, helping the earth as much as we can. So today we're going to be learning about our carbon footprint. How many of you have heard of carbon footprint? Show of hands. Okay, a lot of you. Cool. So basically, we're going to be talking about how to cut our carbon footprint. And I have a list here of 50 ways to do it. I'm going to hand that out to everybody. These are ways that you can do this at home, while you're eating, or eating, like shopping, transportation, with your car, cleaning, bathing, all kinds of stuff. We'll be talking about those. First, I want to share with you, just in case you don't know what carbon footprint is, or carbon dioxide, and how it is causing our planet to, heat up in ways. Okay, so carbon. What is it? It is a chemical element, just like nitrogen and hydrogen, oxygen, or lead, and these are all on the periodic table. These elements are the basic building blocks for humans, animals, plants, trees, and soils. So we're all made up of these elements. We come from these elements. So carbon dioxide is released when we burn organic matter. Like, for example, fossil fuels, food, plants, trees, and lots more. So basically, we're releasing carbon dioxide, and the carbon traps the sun's energy, and that's why it gets hotter in our planet. It traps all of that, the sun's heat. If we produce too much of it, it starts to trap it in the greenhouse effect. So it starts to trap all of that carbon in like a blanket. So that's why we're experiencing a lot of climate change and heat and things like that. So let's see here. Okay, so once the carbon we produce from our activities radiates up into the atmosphere, it goes into the greenhouse gas molecules, and that energy morphs together and vibrates even faster. So that's why it gets hotter, because it's vibrating at a high frequency. So those atoms, those molecules. And that makes the planet warmer. So why is too much heat bad? Anybody know? Why is too much heat bad for us as a species and for all living things? Basically, the reason why it's too much heat is bad for the earth is because if extra greenhouse gases are made into the layer of the atmosphere, it gets trapped into the Earth's atmosphere, and that's when the heat is bad and causes global warming. So for those of you who don't know what the greenhouse effect is, I'm going to explain it to you. The greenhouse effect is a natural occurrence that allows the Earth to maintain a temperature suitable for supporting life, for supporting us and all the beings that live here. And if that is, if too much gas is made, we threaten, the temperatures for life to thrive here, and they become out of balance. So that's what's kind of happening right now with our world, and that's why we have extreme temperature changes like climate change. So basically, I want to enlighten you with things that you can do at home, all around you. And these are it's a simple list of things that you can do. Here you go. That will help every day.
Thank you. I'm supposed to bring a friend home.
Oh, sure.
I have to take you to somebody asked for him.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I have another butter bag?
Yes. Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. All right, so the hand that I gave you is 50 ways to cut carbon, okay? So it says here, this is a list that came from from Earth Guardian's site, so they provided this list for me to be able to do this for you guys. So it says, when we've been recognized publicly for this comprehensive yet accessible little list, pretty soon we'll be launching a campaign that incentivizes folks to collectively commit to taking on one of these items for a straight week. Our goal is to track the carbon of our global tribe is cutting. Meanwhile, scope out the list and get a head start on your carbon cutting practice. So at home, in the winter, you can turn down the thermostat and wear warmer clothes instead. Some people will just put the heat up, you know what I mean, and just crank it up, crank it up, crank it up. But that also releases a lot of carbon, into the atmosphere. So consider, wearing warmer clothes, wearing a blanket, wearing layers, and setting your thermostat to a particular, degree, maybe 65 or, whatever's best to cut that carbon. And in the summer, it says to avoid using air conditioning, considering getting an evaporative cooler instead, because air conditioning is also another cause of, that releases a lot of carbon. So, yes, that's just another way. Avoid using a clothes dryer. Hang your clothes to dry outside if possible. Now, I know in the winter time that is like hard to do. But, we try the best that we can, with these things. So it says to turn down the temperature on your water heater to 100, it says 130 degrees is hot enough. So that's a good way to cut down. It says to put a brick or rocks in your toilet tank to preserve water each time you flush. That's a good idea. This one's really funny. It always makes me laugh. It says minimize toilet flushing. If it's yellow, it's mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. So we definitely do practice this at home when we're aware. It's all about increasing your awareness on these things, and because every little bit helps. Every little bit helps a lot. It says to remember to turn off your lights whenever not needed, especially during the day. I usually cut off the power strip on things, so that way I'm not using any energy whatsoever. I make sure that that's off. And even if you have it plugged in, you're still it's still on, you know what I mean? So plug it all out for the night and then turn it back on in the morning. So let's see what else is here. It says, put stereos and electronics on power strips and turn off when not in use. That's the one, there we go. Cool, I didn't know that one was next. Replace your light bulbs with CFLs or LEDs, which use a lot less energy. Me and my fiance, we did that at home, and that it really helps. Plus, they last longer, those lights, than regular lights. So definitely a good one. Use rechargeable batteries instead of disposable batteries for portable devices. That's also a really, really good one. Rechargeable batteries are awesome. Plus, they get thrown in the trash, and they're not recyclable. And it's just like we got a pile of batteries in a landfill, which really sucks. So It says minimize printing of documents from the computer, go paperless. Like emails, online, digital. That's definitely a good one. Now we're going to go into eating. It says eat vegetarian or better yet vegan, and remember to buy organic. Now, the reason why it says to eat vegetarian or be vegan, now I'm not trying to convince you to do so. I'm just pointing out a helpful point in carbon cutting, because in the animal world, in the food industry world, it takes up a lot of energy to have meat. You know what I mean? Like the process that the cows go through, or the meat in general, all of that causes a lot of energy, a lot of carbon. So I would buy local. That's another one here, is buy locally sourced food when possible. Give your money to local shops that are around that are producing good food, organic food. So that's always a very good thing. Eat organic food, pesticide and GMO free, better for you and the planet, because who wants to eat food with additives and injections and things like that, steroids, antibiotics. There's so much out there. So if you buy local, like for example where I live, there's a whole bunch of local farms that sell all kinds of organic, food, vegetables, meat, everything. And I'm sure out here you guys are familiar with what's out there that does that as well. So we turn to the next page, and I just started doing this. Keep an extra reusable bag in your purse, backpack, bike, or car. When I go grocery shopping, I don't get the bags anymore, the plastic bags, because it's just, there's so many bags in the world, you know what I mean? They always end up in the oceans, and Walmart now has started a recycling bag thing in the front where you can drop off your bags and they'll recycle them and reuse them. But not every place does that, unfortunately. So what I did is I bought a whole bunch of reusable bags, and if I forget them at home, I get mad at myself, and I just say, you know what, I'm just gonna lug all of my stuff without bags into my car, and I do it. If I have apples, I don't care, they go in my back seat, because it reminds me that I really care about this, and I'm willing to not get those bags, those plastic bags, to help the earth as much as I can. So reusable bags are always the best thing. Buy carrots, onions, potatoes, or other produce loose. No need to use a plastic bag. So exactly, when I go to the Walmart or to the store, they always have these little plastic bags that you can rip off to put your produce in. So usually what I do is I don't even grab those bags. I just put them in my cart or my little basket, and that's it. And I just pay for them and leave, or put them in my reusable bag. So let me see. And you can also make your own bag with, there's t-shirts. You can also make your own bag with, you can crochet plastic bags together and make your own really sturdy reusable bag. So next we're going to go into transportation, which is our cars. It says to walk more, rollerblade, skateboard, unicycle, or ride a bike, because our cars are constantly releasing carbon all the time because of what they're made of. They're made of fossil fuels, So carpool and rideshare whenever possible. Use public transportation, bus, subway, or train instead of a personal car. But out here, there's not really, we don't have really that many options for that out here. That was, more in the city, you have those options to do that. But if you have a car, it's better to keep it in tune. You know what I mean? Keep it in good shape, take care of your car, so that way you're not, releasing more, if you have an oil leak, you release that oil into the atmosphere and all of that stuff. So try to keep your car tuned up and clean. It says that you can also drive a fuel-efficient hybrid or electric car. Those are really coming out into the world. They're really blossoming into the world. So I've heard a lot of good things. I've heard that there's this country that is banning cars, that by I think it was by 2020 or 2050, they would have no more cars. So
What country is this?
I believe it was Norway. I'm not 100% positive, but I did read it and it made me really happy. I was like, oh my goodness. So there is a lot of good change happening out there, like a lot of people switching over to renewable energy, solar, even though solar is made from fossil fuels, which is kind of like the counteract of that. It's like, well, that's made up of fossil fuels, like it still defeats the purpose, But for humanity, they're trying, you know what I mean? And they think that with solar, it will help. But I think that we're still finding new ways every day to become more renewable without, the use of fossil fuels or, and fracking and all of that. So, let's see what else. Oh, keep your trunk clean. Extra weight decreases gas mileage. Make sure the tires on your car are properly inflated and balanced. And again, keep your car tuned up and clean. So if you haven't already, definitely practice these things, as much as you can. Like I said, the whole transportation thing is kind of hard out here, but take care of your car as much as you can. And that's all we can do, is the best that we can when it comes to these things. So it says, so now this is just activities, like general activities, and it says to replace some screen time with socializing, creating, learning, art, and exercise. Pick up litter when you walk, and I do that all the time. When I first moved out here about 3 years ago, I became really conscious of life and I just, and the earth, the connectedness that we're all a part of. And I started to, everywhere I saw litter, I was devoted. I made it like one of my things, like I'm gonna clean it up. And everywhere I went, I cleaned it up, put it in my car, and then ended up, putting it in the trash at home or recycling it or whatever I can do. So it says to participate in or start litter pickup days in your neighborhood. That's an awesome initiative, especially if you live in like a community development place. But those places are generally really clean, but sometimes there could be a park around or something that you can help to clean with a community. And you connect, you make connections there, and then you never know who you meet through those connections. So, a couple months ago, me and a couple friends, we went to a park named St. Peter's, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with, down in Warwick. And I brought 3 plastic bags, and I was like, because usually in the entrance of St. Peter's Village, there's a huge sign that says no trash, but then under the sign, there'll be a pile of trash there. And it'd be like, I'd take a picture of it and be like, the irony, you know what I mean? So I would go there, and with 3 huge plastic bags, and with my friends, we would just go take a hike, and if I saw trash, I'd pick it up and put it in the bag, and just keep going, keep going, keep going. Of course, that day, it wasn't that filthy than I was used to seeing it, but it was still like the intention that counts, you know what I mean? Like going out there and spreading all of that, because if someone sees me doing it, maybe it'll motivate the other person to do it as well, you know what I mean? And that's how this world works, So let's see what else. Oh, start or help with a community garden. See, that would be awesome, because then you're growing your own food. You know where it's coming from. It's not being shipped or from China or all these other countries, and that cuts carbon so much, because you're not getting your food from Ecuador or Peru or all these different places. You're getting it from your backyard or from a community garden. And plus, if you raise your food organic, it's even better. You know what I mean? It's better for you. It tastes better for your family. So start or help with a community garden. You can even start a garden at home. You know what I mean? Just have your own little garden at home. Fortunately, I live with 2.5 acres of land, but I only get sun in the front part of my lawn. So we arranged to make a garden out of pallets. So what we did was we cut the pallets with a saw, and then we used one of those nail guns that are just and just put it all together. And it came out really cool. We waterproofed the whole thing, and we've been able to raise our own food with organically, and it tastes amazing. It's probably the best food I've ever had. It's delicious. So, and you definitely taste the difference. Like, once you bite into a tomato that's like dark and rich looking than one that you get at the grocery store that's pale and, you know, not as nutritious, you just see the difference, and it's like, and you taste it, it's like, ah, amazing. So, it also says to get outside every day and get into the habit of regularly spending time in nature. We come from nature, so whenever we spend time in nature, it helps us to become more in tune with nature and realize who we are. You know what I mean? As part of nature. So to get outside every day and get into the habit of regularly spending time in nature will be good for us. And it's also good for if you have children, you know, you bring them out with you and they get to explore and see where, you know, what's out there and where they come from too. So it says to buy a living Christmas tree and plant it somewhere after the Christmas season instead of buying the fake trees, because again, those fake trees are, you know, being manufactured. They probably come in factories that are, you know, producing a lot of carbon as well. So buying a living tree and planting it after the Christmas season is also really good for ourselves and the planet, because, you know, we're planting more trees, which is excellent for cutting carbon because the trees release oxygen for us. It also says to plant trees in your community, which I am in the process of planting as many trees as I can in the Elverson borough. I'm waiting for it to get approved. So, and all I did was call and say, you know, hey, I'm interested, like I have this with our gardens, and I really, if you have the space, would like to, you know, come and plant some trees. And they told me, yeah, we definitely would love for you to come do that. And it's all about just taking the initiative. You know, a phone call can go so long, you know. And it opens up so many doors and opportunities. So if you can, plant some trees, maybe in your backyard or in your community. The lady told me that the park in Elverson was very sunny, so she felt that maybe we could use more trees there. So you just never know when that ray of light will shine on you. So it says to adopt a street or trail and keep it clean. You know how when you are driving like by a highway and it says to adopt the highway kind of thing? That's what that means. So you adopt that highway and, you know, you come out with your crew and you clean it up and you keep it clean kind of thing. So that's a really good one. Organize a cleanup at a beach, lake, river, or creek. And it's the same thing with a park or neighborhood cleanup, anything that you see yourself doing as far as that. Maybe it can be really sad, like, you know, maybe there's a place that you grew up in that's nature, you know, and you really love it there, and then it became super polluted, you know what I mean? So maybe you can organize something with your family and friends to, you know, clean that place up, and it'll get better. It's all about the will to go out there and create good things, promote good things. So if you flip the page, it says here to shop at local farmers markets, which I love. Local food, you know where it's coming from. Start a garden, grow some of your own food. We talked about that. Starting something in my front lawn or in your front lawn. Compost leftover food, yard trimmings, and organic matter instead of throwing it in the trash. See, that's a big one, because if you just throw all your food in the trash, it just goes into the landfill, into this big old, gigantic, massive pile, and it just stays there. And, you know, sometimes it takes even longer for it to biodegrade because it's mixed in with other stuff. You know what I mean? So if you do a compost pile, like in your yard, like if you have a lot of land, I have 2.5 acres, and I still me and my fiance managed to do a compost pile. And it's really cool because you get to put it in the dirt, and then you see it like heat up. And if you just like till the dirt a little bit, it heats up, and it's like all this heat in there, and it's all cooking because it's biodegrading, and it creates excellent soil for your garden. So you can put all that rich soil right back into your garden and feed yourself again for the year. So composting is definitely awesome thing. And it says here to use all reusable plates, silverware, napkins, Tupperware, etc., including when you get food to go. See, now that's kind of hard because, so when it comes to using reusable plates, that's different. Unless they're like plastic, like full plastic where you can wash them, then you can reuse them. But if they're foam, like foam is kind of hard to clean up, and paper as well, paper plates. So what I would do is recycle as much as you can, recycle everything as possible, as much as you can. And when it comes to reusable plates, they're coming out with these plates that are plant-based. So it's literally leaves that they sew together, and they're awesome. I forget what they're called, but if you look up plant-based plates or silverware and stuff, they definitely have them out there where you can use those, and they're biodegradable. You don't got to worry about it, contaminating any place. So plates, napkins. They also have silverware, biodegradable silverware online. I'm getting married this year, and I was thinking, like, I don't want to buy all this plastic silverware. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, like, so much plastic silverware for like 100 people. You know what I mean? It's going to be terrible. I'm going to have all this plastic silverware to wash. So I looked up online, and they definitely have biodegradable silverware made out of bamboo. So and they're cheap too. I think like a box of it was like $50 or something like that, or maybe even cheaper. I might be lying like really bad. It might be like $10 for like 100 of them. So I just can't remember how much exactly it was. But it's definitely out there. The options are out there for you. It's just raising like that awareness that they're out there. So let's see what else is here. It says, decide what you want before you open the refrigerator. This is a really funny one, because even I'm a culprit of this. Like, I'll open the door and be like, like, what am I getting? But then you're releasing all of that energy that it takes to, cool those drinks or the food that's in the refrigerator. So again, it's just, being mindful of that. For me, it's gotten to the point where when I go to a restaurant, I tell them, nothing plastic. If you have paper, I prefer the paper, and definitely no straws, because straws, unfortunately, they're not recyclable, and they always end up in the ocean in a turtle's nose. I saw a really graphic video on that. It really sucks. So yes. Use a pressure cooker, especially for beans and grains. It says, avoid supporting fast food restaurants and chains. Eat at the local community-oriented restaurants. I really appreciate that one, because first, you're not giving your money to a large organization. You're giving your money to people who are, good people who have families and are just trying to support themselves. You know what I mean? And especially if the place says like the food comes from a local, like we grow our own food, we supply our own food, that's even better, because you know where it's coming from, and you're not supporting those fast food chains that don't really care about our well-being. You know what I mean? Like McDonald's and their pink slime and all of that. So definitely eat local. Buy food in bulk, plan ahead, and bring reusable bags and containers to the market or store. So they say that so that you don't have to make multiple trips again and again to get food. If you buy in bulk, you don't have to run out as much to the store, cutting your carbon footprint. Okay, so next up is bathing. It says to cut your shower time by 20% or take one fewer shower per week. So basically taking one of those quick showers, like make sure you're nice and clean and stuff, but reducing your water usage, that helps a lot with cutting your carbon footprint. Turn off the water while shampooing or washing your body. I really agree with this. Me and my fiance installed in our shower it's a shower head that has a button on it, so when you don't want to use the water, you just press the button and it shuts it off. So that's really ideal, and it cuts our water usage. as well. So that's definitely an option. Turn off the water while you're brushing your teeth or shaving. See, sometimes we can be just brushing our teeth and we'll have the water running because we, probably like the sound of the water, you know what I mean? I'm one of those people because I love water. So I always when I'm brushing my teeth and I'm like, oh, the water's on, I always try to turn it off and then brush my teeth again. And if I need it, little by little. There's people out there who don't have water, who don't have access to clean water. We're really fortunate to have what we have, the resources we have. But they're resources. They're not, unfortunately, they're not unlimited. They can run out. So we just have to, try to be mindful and considerate of what we have, because other people out there, they have to travel so far to get a huge jug of water and then bring it home, and then they don't have it in their faucet. So what they do is they have to use a jug and pour the water while they're washing dishes, things like that, which could be uncommon for us because we have it all here. So yes. So cutting off the water when we don't need it. So the cooler the water, the better, because then we're not using energy with the water heater. So if you're washing dishes or taking a shower, consider turning the temperature down a little bit to where it's comfortable. And I love really hot showers. I love a hot shower, but because I care about the earth and because I care about future generations, I'm okay with cutting, making it a little cooler for myself. So that's with bathing right there, what you can do while you're bathing. And so as far as cleaning, whether at home or wherever you need to clean on a day-to-day basis, it says to use rags or hand towels instead of paper towels or napkins. Rags are awesome because you can reuse them, you can wash them, they're reusable. Another thing you can use as rags, if you don't, let's say you have an overabundance of shirts, that maybe you're going to give to someone or maybe not. Maybe you just have an overabundance of them and you're going to throw them out. And then those ends up in the landfill as well. What you can do is you can cut your shirts and also use them as rags. So that's also an option that you can do. I even use rags for my center. I own a arts center. So when we do oil painting or any kind of painting, I use the rags so that I'm not using paper towels as much. So rags are definitely an awesome invention. It says to use non-toxic, environmentally friendly products for cleaning. And that's the best thing because then you're not, putting all of this bad, chemical, stuff into the earth. So definitely consider, there's so many things out there. You can clean with, vinegar and water. There's so many options out there that you can use for healthy cleaning products. Most of the stuff nowadays, when it comes to cleaning products, is all made from chemicals. That even the spray stuff like Febreze, that's all chemicals. You spray that into the air. It may smell good, but in the end, it's really not good for us because of what it's made of. So I know a lot of people also use those Clorox paper towel, wet naps kind of thing for cleaning. Those are another thing that you can switch over from using that to rags because there's so many of that waste happening when it comes to those things. They just get thrown out in the trash and forgotten about. So let's see, minimize use of aerosols and don't buy it if halons or CFCs are listed. So like I said, there's a lot of things in what you buy that has, that's environmentally not good and also not good for us and our children. So whatever you put, just when you go buy stuff, make sure you're looking at the labels and you're seeing that it says biodegradable or, eco-friendly. The label will say it all. And if there's something there that you can't pronounce, it's normally bad. So And then me and my fiance, I'm 22 by the way, my fiance is 26. And, you know, every time we go shop, it's like, what's in there? What's in the ingredients? You know, like, what's there? You know, we're like crazy about it. And it's because you know, I don't know, it's just who we've become, you know? It's who we were raised to be. So, shopping. When we go shopping, local, consider paying a little extra to support a local store or restaurant. So that's the thing, sometimes things can be really expensive. Like organic food nowadays is like, in certain places, is really expensive. The Hearts store, where they have their local food and stuff, they had a pack of, what was it? Pork chops. They were this big, 3 of them, and they were $20 for organic pork chops. And I'm just like, I looked at it, I thought, at first I was like, ooh, look, organic. And I looked at the price, I was like, they gotta be kidding me. Like, oh my goodness, how can they get away with that, right? But that's why I would consider just growing it all at home. You know, I mean, sometimes it's hard if you're an animal person and, you know, you can't like necessarily, you don't have the heart to butcher an animal at home. You know what I mean? That can be really, really, really difficult. But there are places out there that have grass-fed meat that are, you know, raised with kindness and, you know, that are not injected with all kinds of stuff that you can buy from. In my experience, we do butcher chickens, but I have raised cows and rabbits and all kinds of stuff. But in my house, we've only butchered chickens. I have lived in a farm where they did butcher the cows, but they usually send them off to a butcher, and you know they do the job. So yeah, so you could definitely do that as well. Like raise a baby cow, feed it, and then send them off to the butcher. I know it sounds really heartless, especially if you're vegan. If you're vegan, then that's, you know, that's cool. That's awesome, you know. So yes. So if it's too expensive, definitely consider doing it yourself at home, especially with like plants and vegetables and things like that. We do it with chickens. And that way you know where it's coming from, and it's all good food, good healthy food. The second one here says to shop at secondhand thrift stores. I love Goodwill. Goodwill is like the best place ever for me. I love it there, especially they're so cheap and they have all the clothes that I could ever want, and they have my style. It's awesome. So, because you know nowadays in society we're so built on a stereotype that we all need to have new clothing. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, the latest shoes, the new Jordans, the new, you know, diamond earrings. And that's, to me, that's just a mindset that is just not working, you know, for us, for this world. It's not all about what you have. It's to me, at least, it's all about what's inside of you, you know? You can be wearing fancy clothes, but you could still be really mean and not a good person. So consider shopping at secondhand thrift stores. You never know what you'll find too. You know, there's things there that you'll be like, oh my god, I actually really needed this, and it'll be like $2. You know, super cheap, and you're saving it from ending at a landfill, which is another, you know, great thing to save from. So. It says organize clothing swaps and trade days with your friends and your community. That's an awesome one. To be able to, you know, go out and say, hey, I have this, you know, for your son, if he needs it, you know, shoes. Because at the end, somebody will always end up needing what you have, you know. You just gotta put it out there, and even online, like if you go on Facebook and you like lock your stuff and say, hey, I have this, you know, for free, come pick it up. And people will come out to pick it up, especially, and you never know who you'll be helping. Like, there could be somebody who's really in need that you're, you know, blessing them with your stuff that you no longer need. So, and you're also saving it from going into the landfill, which uses up a lot of energy. So let's see. Also, it says do some research, get good at distinguishing between greenwashing and legit sustainability standards. And these are 50 ways to reduce your
What
carbon.
is greenwashing?
Greenwashing?
Yeah.
Greenwashing is basically anything using any green technology, like any renewable energy, anything green.
What do you mean with distinguishing between greenwashing and legit sustainability standards? What do you mean by that?
Basically things that help the environment, sustainable things, renewable things that help to, help our environment. Any other questions? Do we have more questions?
I don't know if I understand her answer.
No, I don't understand.
For which one?
Could greenwashing be the marketing terms that people are using to say I'm green when in fact they're not?
Greenwashing? Yes, that's also another, yes, that's definitely one too. So there's people out there that are saying like, I'm green, I'm eco, but they're not. You know what I mean? It's like, for example, like Pepsi saying, my bottles are made out of plants,
Oh.
but they're not. So the point.
Between that and between legitimate.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Well,
So.
now I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all about, renewable energy, sustainable energy, things that are renewable and that will help the world grow from this, stagnant place that we're in. We're not so stagnant though because, there's a lot of good things happening. China just did a whole bunch of solar energy like they've never before have done. I believe France has banned all plastic, completely all plastic. There's a lot of good things that are happening. So don't think that we're all stuck in the dark. Because if you do a lot of research, there's so many countries out there that have banned fracking, that are switching to renewable resources, and it's all because of the people that have the will to go out there and do lectures like this to raise awareness, for our future generations and for ourselves, because. In life, they say it's all about comfort. We're all about being comfortable in our life, but we can still be comfortable and practice these things. And let me see what else. Let me see if there's anything else that I need to share with you guys.
I do have a question.
Yes.
It seems like our consumer society is an antithesis to what we want to do. I mean, it's always saying buy, buy, buy.
Yeah. Well, so when it comes to something like that, unfortunately, in our society, we have a TV that programs us to be a certain way. All of those messages, all of those things that we see on the TV that say buy this, you gotta look like this, you gotta be this way. It's all just brainwash into thinking, into making you think that you're to limit yourself. You know what I mean? For you to place limits on yourself, saying, oh, I need to look like that person. I don't look like that person. There must be something wrong with me. So in reality, it's just an acceptance of self-love, knowing that you are you and you are divine. You come from the stars, the universe, God, source. And we don't need to be like the other person because you are uniquely you, and that's it, What you put out there comes back to you. So always keep that in mind. Whatever you put out there, whatever kind of energy you put out there comes right back to you, 100-fold. And it's knowing, like greenwashing, like knowing that, all of that brainwash, and distinguishing yourself from that brainwash and saying, oh, that's just them saying, that's their opinion. You know what I mean? That's their opinion. That's what they think, but I think differently, And treat them with love, like, oh man, that's too bad that they think like that, but, I wish them love, respect, and I hope they figure it out one day, That's all we can do. Can't fight crazy, what they say. So, but there is unfortunately, there's a lot of brainwash, but it's also educating our youth and letting them know that, on TV they may say, be this person, but no, it's not all about that, But that's what those companies want us to think, you know? They want us to be like that because they want to program us to be a certain way as a society, you know? But we can't let them do that to us, you know? We're here and we have free will. They're going to try to limit us as much as they want to, subconsciously with those little subliminal messages. But we can sniff that out, you know what I mean? We're like, you know, that's bad, you know? And that's it, that's all we need. As long as we know that, we're good. And hopefully one day, you know, we have to wish those people luck and say, you know, hopefully one day they'll change their mind and be like, what have I been doing to these people all these years? You know what I mean? Like, what have I come to with this, you know, organization? So also petitions, if you're on Facebook or online, there's a lot of petitions out there. Petitions really help. There'll be a petition that says like ban fracking here, or help with, like I started a petition saying to help the big companies like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, like switch their plastic bottles into something more eco-friendly. So you can start a petition as well, and it's so simple. You just go online and sign up, and then, you know, start your cause, and you share it, and you get a whole bunch of signatures. And, you know, that helps a lot to show a company like, oh, wow, like a lot of people signed this, you know, maybe I can do that. And all it takes is a mental shift of, you know, changing their mind. You know, they realize and they're like, oh man, like, you know, we could do this. Another thing is not drinking that stuff too, because it's not really good for you. But there's still a lot of people out there who do it anyway, so if they change their packaging, it would be, you know, a whole lot better for the world. Any other questions? I know our society tries to shape us, but they're not winning. You know what I mean? They're not winning. They think they are, but they're not. We're so uniquely individual. You know, there's no way that they can shape us into one square when we're beyond that. You know? I mean, come on, we live on Earth, and there's a universe, there's planets surrounding us, there's stars out there. It's like, this world is incredible, you know? So let me see. So is there any other questions at all? Anything that I might have not answered or covered? Let me see. Yeah. So that is my lecture. I hope that I was able to make everybody understand fully like what carbon cutting is and how you can do it at home, at work, you know, when you're bathing, with your car, everything. And if you ever want to get in touch, I do have some flyers here about Earth Guardians. Like if you want to start a cause. Yeah, if you want to start a cause with me, or, you know, just participate in general. There's definitely, you know, I definitely am open to everything possible. I'm always educating myself. And the reason I am here is because I deeply care about these issues. And, you know, like I said, I'm 22, I have my own business. There's nothing holding me back. I have a mission, and I'm clear of what it is, and I will do whatever it takes to get there in a good way, in a good, humane way. So, so thank you. Thank you for coming and, you know, being here, and thank you.